I found out my wife wasn't just cheating. She was cheating with my daughter's boyfriend, threatening my child into silence, and locking her out of our home while I was thousands of miles away on an oil rig. So I came home and did what the ocean taught me, shut the system down fast, and by sunrise her life wasn't hers anymore. My name is Mark Dalton. I'm 44 and I've spent most of my adult life working offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, 2 weeks out, 2 weeks home. It's hard work, dangerous work, and it pays well for a reason. People think the ocean is quiet. It's not. It's constant noise. Metal creaking. Wind ripping across steel. Machines that don't care if you're tired. You learn discipline out there. You learn routines. You learn that if one part fails, everything else can collapse behind it. And the worst part about offshore isn't the hours or the weather. It's what happens at home while you're gone. For 20 years I told myself my sacrifice was worth it. We had a nice house in Florida, a pool, 2 paid-off vehicles, a decent retirement plan, and enough savings that I used to believe I could slow down by 50. My wife Deborah loved to tell people, we're blessed. My daughter Emily used to say, Dad, you work too hard. I'd smile, hug her, and say, I'm building you a life where you don't have to. I didn't realize I was building the house that would be used against her. Emily turned 19 last summer. She'd always been a bright kid, sharp, curious, the kind of mind that saw how things fit together. She got a full scholarship to a state university about 40 minutes away. Engineering, like me. The kind of major that makes you proud because you know it's earned, not given. During her first year she started dating a guy named Tyler Wilson. On paper Tyler looked fine. He was 21, business major, always confident. He drove a Mustang that screamed family money. His dad owned multiple car dealerships across 2 counties. Tyler had that polished, effortless way of talking like everything would work out, because for him it always had. I didn't love him, but Emily seemed happy. I didn't want to be the controlling dad. So I kept it light. Treat my daughter right. Tyler laughed like it was a joke. Yes, sir. Deborah, on the other hand, took to Tyler immediately. Too immediately. She texted me while I was offshore. Tyler came over to help Emily study. Tyler fixed the cabinet hinge. Tyler's such a respectful young man. At first I was glad Emily had someone around when I wasn't. I figured Deborah was just being friendly. Looking back, that was mistake number 1. Believing friendliness is always innocent. The first time I noticed something wrong was February. I came home from a rotation and found Emily, smaller. Not just thinner. Quieter. She wore oversized hoodies even in Florida heat. She avoided eye contact. Her laugh came late, like she had to remember how to do it. I asked Deborah, what's going on with Emily? Deborah didn't hesitate. It's school. Exams. She's stressed. That sounded reasonable. College can do that. Engineering can do that. But then the little things started stacking up. Emily stopped answering my calls like she used to. Our long talks turned into short updates. How's class? Fine. How's Tyler? Fine. Need anything? No, it wasn't her voice that scared me, it was what she wasn't saying. One Sunday in March I took her to the breakfast place we used to go to when she was in high school. She ordered pancakes, her favorite, and barely touched them. Her eyes kept flicking to her phone like she was waiting for permission to speak. I leaned in and lowered my voice. Talk to me. What's happening? She swallowed and forced a smile. Nothing, Dad. I'm just tired. Then Deborah walked in, slid into the booth beside her, and the moment died like someone turned off a light. See? Deborah said, cheerful. She's just overwhelmed. Emily nodded like a puppet. I wanted to push harder. But I was also exhausted, trying to cram 2 weeks of parenting into a few days. I told myself I'd keep an eye on it. Then I went back offshore. That was mistake number 2, thinking time would fix what was being carefully broken. By late spring, Emily had changed so much that it made my chest hurt. She wouldn't post on social media anymore. She stopped seeing friends from high school. She stopped driving to campus some days and asked Deborah for rides instead. And Deborah, my wife, suddenly became involved. She knew Emily's schedule. She wanted Emily's passwords for safety. She insisted on picking up packages from the door. She said Emily was being too dramatic and too sensitive. Whenever I tried to connect with my daughter, Deborah would step between us like a polite wall. Don't interrogate her, Mark. You're making it worse. I wanted to believe Deborah. We'd been married 21 years. We'd built a life together. I was gone half the month, she ran the house. I thought she was protecting our daughter the way I couldn't. I didn't know she was protecting herself. Then came the call. Mid-August. Late at night. Offshore. When your phone rings after 10 p.m. on a rig, your body wakes up before your mind does. You expect injury. An emergency. Something you can't undo. The caller ID said, Carol Jensen, our neighbor. Carol was a retired teacher. She'd watched Emily grow up. She wasn't the type to gossip, exaggerate, or call for nothing. I answered and her voice was tight. Mark, I'm so sorry to bother you out there. My stomach dropped. Is Emily okay? Pause. Then, Emily is here. In my living room. She's crying. She has a bruise on her face. And she's terrified to go home. The rig didn't feel like steel anymore. It felt like I was standing on thin glass over deep water. Put her on, I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. Carol handed her the phone, and then I heard my daughter's sobbing. The kind that scrapes your insides. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me. Hate you. I said. Emily, listen to me. You're my kid. I will never hate you. Are you hurt? Do you need a hospital? No, she whispered. I just can't go back. Mom locked me out. She said if I tell you, she'll ruin my life. My hands started shaking so hard I had to sit down. What did your mother do? I asked. Emily tried to speak and broke again. She had been carrying something too heavy for too long, and the strap finally snapped. Then she told me. Not all at once. Not neatly. But the truth doesn't arrive neatly when it's been strangled for months. Tyler had been coming to our house while Emily was at campus. At first it was helping Deborah with things around the house. Then dinners. Then movie nights. Then one afternoon, Emily came home early and found them in the kitchen. Too close. Hands where hands didn't belong. A look between them that wasn't a mistake. Emily confronted them. Tyler threatened her. Deborah backed him up. And for 6 months, my wife had been sleeping with my daughter's boyfriend. Not just cheating. Weaponizing my absence. Using my money. Using my house. Using my child's fear. Emily said she tried to end it. Tyler panicked. Ran to Deborah. And tonight, Deborah slapped Emily, called her ungrateful, and told her she should be thankful someone was teaching Tyler how to be a man. Then she threw my daughter out, changed the locks, and told her she didn't deserve to live there. While I was thousands of miles away working to pay for the home she was being exiled from. I felt something in me go cold. Not numb. Focused. The ocean teaches you that panic is how people die. You don't panic. You move. Emily, I said, voice steady even while my heart was breaking. You stay with Carol tonight. I'm coming home. And I'm going to fix this. Mom said you won't believe me, Emily whispered. I swallowed hard. I believe you. I believe you right now. And I'm proud of you for telling me. I hung up and went straight to my supervisor. Emergency leave. They looked at my face and didn't ask questions. Within hours I was on a helicopter off the rig, then a flight, then driving through the dark on pure adrenaline and rage, except rage wasn't loud. Rage was quiet. Organized. On the drive home I made calls like I was shutting down a failing system. First call, my divorce attorney Thomas Reddick. We'd used him years earlier for a property issue. He answered on the second ring. Mark? I told him everything. No softness. No protecting Deborah. No excuses. He didn't gasp. He didn't moralize. He did what good attorneys do. He started building. Mark, he said, this isn't just divorce. This is domestic violence. Coercion. Possibly witness intimidation. We can file for an emergency protective order first thing in the morning. If she put hands on Emily and locked her out, the judge will move fast. Do it, I said. I want Deborah out of that house. Today. Photographs of the bruise, he said. A statement from Emily. A timeline. Everything documented. You'll have it. Second call, my bank manager. I had joint accounts with Deborah. I had a credit line. I had learned offshore that when something is compromised, you cut access before the damage spreads. I need my direct deposit rerouted, I said. I need our joint cards frozen. Tonight. He asked one question, are you safe? No, I said. But I will be. Consider it done. Third call, Tyler's father. That was the one that tasted like metal in my mouth. Mr. Wilson answered with that smooth businessman tone. This is Richard Wilson. I didn't let him guide the conversation. Your son has been having an affair with my wife. He threatened my daughter into silence. My wife assaulted her and locked her out of our home. Silence. Then colder, are you certain? My daughter is sitting in a neighbor's living room with a bruise on her face, I said. My attorney is filing tomorrow. Your son will be named. Another long pause. Then, I will handle my son. You keep him away from my daughter, I said. You have my word, he replied, no sales tone now, just anger. Fourth call, Deborah's brother, Stephen. He never trusted her. When I told him, he didn't sound surprised. He sounded sick. What do you need? He asked. I need her to know she doesn't have a safe place to run, I said. No family cushion. No poor Deborah's story. Stephen didn't hesitate. I'll call her. He did, right then, while I drove, and put me on speaker for part of it. I heard Deborah's voice go sweet, then defensive, then shrill as Stephen cut through her lies. You're dead to us, he said. Don't call Mom. Don't call Dad. You're alone. Then he hung up on her. I didn't feel triumph. I felt the gears turning. I pulled into my driveway a little after 2 a.m. The house looked the same. Clean lawn. Soft porch light. Pool screened in back. The kind of suburban calm people put on postcards. Inside, it smelled like my life: coffee, detergent, the faint chlorine from the pool. And yet it felt like I was walking into a stranger's home. Deborah was awake in the bedroom, sitting up in bed with her phone. When she saw me, her expression flashed from shock to anger to something else: calculation. You're home early, she said. I heard you hit our daughter, I replied. Deborah sighed like I'd accused her of a minor inconvenience. Emily is exaggerating. She got emotional. Stop, I said. Not loud. Just final. Deborah blinked. She wasn't used to me cutting her off. I know about Tyler, I said. I know about the affair. I know about the threats. I know you locked Emily out. Deborah's face drained. Then she did what she always did when cornered. She reached for a story. Mark, I can explain. No, I said. You don't get to explain. You don't get to rewrite reality. This is over. Her eyes filled fast. The tears appeared on schedule. The performance. I was lonely, she whispered. You were always gone. Tyler just made me feel seen. You didn't just cheat, I said. You targeted your daughter's boyfriend. You manipulated your child. You assaulted her. You tried to silence her by threatening her future. Deborah's tears faltered as she realized the sympathy angle wasn't working. Then she switched tactics. Do you know what you're doing? She snapped. You're going to destroy this family. I stared at her and felt something I didn't expect. Not hate. Disgust. You destroyed it months ago, I said. I'm just the one cleaning up. I held up my phone and showed her the photo Carol had sent. Emily's bruise clear as daylight. Deborah flinched. By morning, I said, you'll be served with divorce papers and an emergency protective order. You are not to contact Emily. You are leaving this house. You can't do that, Deborah hissed. I have rights. This house is in my name, I said. My paychecks bought it. Your choices burned it down. Deborah opened her mouth, then shut it, because for the first time she realized her usual tools weren't cutting. You'll regret this, she said. I regret trusting you, I replied. That's it. Then I walked out of the bedroom and drove straight to Carol's. When Emily opened the door and saw me, she broke. She clung to me like she was still 5 years old, sobbing into my shoulder. I'm sorry, she kept saying. You have nothing to be sorry for, I told her. Nothing. This was done to you. We sat in Carol's living room until the sky started turning gray. Emily told me everything she hadn't been able to say before. How Deborah read her texts and deleted my messages. How Deborah told her, your dad won't believe you. How Deborah made her feel like speaking up would ruin everything. How Tyler threatened to tell people Emily wanted it, and caused it. It wasn't just betrayal. It was abuse, quiet, repetitive, strategic. And it worked because Emily was young and scared and still believed her mother had to love her. By sunrise, I had what Thomas needed: photos, a written timeline, Emily's statement. And I had one more thing: a promise to my daughter that I would never again let distance make me blind. At 8 a.m., Thomas filed. By 10 a.m., the emergency protective order was in motion. By 11:30, a process server arrived. Deborah's face when she saw the paperwork was something I'll never forget. Like her reality finally hit a wall. She tried to cry. She tried to rage. She tried to negotiate. Mark, please, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said. You broke what was sacred. At 12:15, when Deborah still refused to leave, I called the police. 2 officers arrived. One looked at the report and the photo and shook his head like he wished he hadn't seen it. Deborah tried to spin her story. The officer stopped her mid-sentence. Ma'am, you're under a court order. You need to gather essentials and leave. Deborah screamed at me in the driveway as she was escorted out with 2 trash bags of clothes. She screamed that Emily was lying. She screamed that I was choosing my daughter over my wife, like that was an insult. And the whole neighborhood heard it. I didn't yell back. I just stood next to Emily and held her hand. Tyler's life collapsed faster than mine did. His father called me 2 days later. His voice sounded like steel. "He's out of my house," Mr. Wilson said. "He's out of the trust. The car is mine. He can figure out what adulthood looks like." I didn't celebrate that. I just said, "Keep him away from my daughter." "He will never contact her again," he promised. Emily blocked him everywhere. We filed a no-contact request through the university as well. Security was notified. For the first time in months, Emily's shoulders dropped like she could breathe. The divorce wasn't cinematic. It was paperwork, hearings, documents, and consequences. Florida is no fault, but adultery and abuse still matter when you're dividing assets and discussing support. And Deborah had created a trail of evidence that wasn't going away. Credit card statements showed dinners and hotel charges on nights I was offshore. Text logs showed Deborah's hostility. Emily's statement was the kind judges don't ignore. Deborah tried to play victim online. She posted vague quotes about being punished for loving someone. Stephen, her brother, commented publicly under one post, "You slept with your daughter's boyfriend and hit your child. Stop lying." The post disappeared within an hour, but not before half the town saw it. That's the thing about lies on the internet. They don't erase clean. Emily started therapy through a scholarship resource the school provided. Twice a week at first. I took extended leave from the rig and found a local position. Less money, more time. I used to think providing meant paychecks. Now I knew providing meant presence. We rebuilt slowly. We did normal things again, grocery runs, dumb movies, Sunday breakfasts. One day, months later, Emily wore a t-shirt instead of a hoodie. She laughed at something on TV, really laughed, and then looked at me like she was surprised it still worked. "I thought I'd never feel normal again," she admitted. I reached over and squeezed her hand. Normal isn't something you find. It's something you rebuild. I heard through the grapevine that Deborah ended up living in a tiny apartment above a pizza place in another county. She tried to get jobs and kept getting rejected. A criminal record for domestic violence does that. The last time I saw her was by accident at a strip mall. She saw me and started walking fast like she'd found a lifeboat. I turned and walked away without a word. Not because I was dramatic. Because I was done. Some people think closure is a conversation. Sometimes closure is simply refusing to keep letting someone into your life. If you're wondering whether I felt satisfaction, watching her life collapse the way she tried to collapse Emily's, here's the truth: I felt grief. Not for Deborah. For the years I spent believing my absence was a fair trade. For the nights Emily sat in her room scared and silent while I worked in the Gulf thinking I was protecting my family. But I also felt something else. Relief. Because my daughter was safe. Because the system that hurt her was shut down. Because for the first time in a long time, the house felt like a home again, not a stage for someone else's sickness. And because the ocean taught me something simple: when a structure is compromised, you don't patch it with hope. You rebuild it with truth. By the time the courts finished, everything was clear. My wife lost her marriage, her home, her reputation, and every ounce of credibility she once had. Her affair didn't just destroy our family, it exposed who she truly was. Tyler lost his future the same way he gained his privileges, fast and careless. No trust fund. No university. No family backing him. Just consequences. And my daughter? She survived what should have broken her. Emily went back to school. She regained her strength. She learned that silence is not strength, truth is. And that a parent's job is not to protect appearances, but to protect their child at any cost. As for me, I learned the hardest lesson of my life. Providing money is not the same as providing safety. And distance, no matter how justified, creates space for monsters to grow. I didn't destroy my wife's life. She did that herself, the moment she chose betrayal over motherhood, control over love, and silence over accountability. All I did was stop the damage. And if there's one thing I want anyone watching this to remember, it's this. If someone hurts your child, they don't deserve forgiveness first. They deserve consequences.